Hey guys, welcome back to Winter Wolf's Den. Winter Wolf here. Very excited. The show that everybody has been waiting for. Yes, even more so than House of the Dragon Season 2. We're about to get into it.
Oh, yes. I'm really excited to talk about this. The most anticipated show of the season. I've been waiting for this for a while to talk about this one. Ever since I heard about it. The Bear Season 3 is dropping, and I can't wait to talk about it.
The Bear? That's not the right show.
What do you mean? The show's great.
The Bear?
The Bear.
We're doing the other. No.
Oh, we're doing this one?
Yeah, we're doing this one. Current state of Star Wars or a favorite IP being run into the ground, leaving you anxious and frustrated? Are you tired of endless online gaslighting that insists Star Wars is as great as it's ever been? Have you been accused of being a bigot, racist, or sexist because you think Star Wars writers can't properly do character or story anymore? Help is out there. Many others feel exactly the same way you do. You're not alone. Winter Wolf's Den is here to help. Like, comment, and subscribe. Our experienced and compassionate staff is here to help. I hate this show so much. It's so bad. Dude, Winter Wolf here in the A chair. Oh, I'm back on the A chair side. Look at that. All right. That's nice. Back on the look. This is more. All right. That's the aesthetic. All right. And King Z in the B-hole seat, buddy. What's going on, man?
Nah, nothing much. Another day, another dollar, I guess.
I would give them money to take this show away and not make us do the next 3 episodes. But because we're professionals and we stick to our guns and we finish things when we start them, not only do we have our experienced clinical help over at Winter Wolf's Den ready to help you deal with the Acolyte, we're also bringing in. So we're going to bring in for a little bit of extra help, like I was just saying. We're going to bring in some extra help. We're going to bring in the Armoress, longtime friend of the channel, longtime friend in real life, bona fide geek knowledge on board, lots of genre interest that she has. Armoress, what's good? We know you're on about a 3-second delay because of your crappy mobile connection.
Hi, yes, I am here.
Good. We're glad to have you. We're glad to add a little bit of female context and outlook and perspective on this show. That way the world can give us cis hetero white guys in our 40s a break as being the only evil thing reviewing this show down to, I thought I heard earlier, 12% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't know that it dipped that far down. Do you have any idea?
Last I saw was 13.
Okay.
Yeah, that's last I saw too.
Yeah, and I think it was
I was
81 on critics, I think.
Oh, all right. That would be a little bit of a dip from them because it was hovering strong on the mid 80s, I think, for a good long while. Yeah, let's run with the horizontal. I like that for the three person setup. That's good. Cool. All right. We did our intros. We're gonna get right into the show. Here's a synopsis. It's as quick as last week's show. You remember how last week's show was super stupid and short and nothing really happened because they walked around for like 20 minutes? This week was the opposite of that. They fought for literally 22 minutes and accomplished nothing, except agitating more of the viewers still sticking around while accomplishing almost nothing coherent in terms of story. We really need to get that clip from Billy Madison where he gives the long convoluted answer and then the guy's like, I award you no points and may God have mercy on your soul. We are all dumber for having just watched this. I'm sorry, it just is. King Z, like usual, let's let the Armoress give her global level 64,000 foot view just of this episode. We're gonna do a series review. I think the 3 of us when it's all over. I don't want to waste your time tonight covering the first 4 episodes, but just overall, what did you think of 5?
What did I think of 5? Well, it's hard to make a decision on this show when you've got 35 minutes of people just standing around having really not very intense conversations about nothing and beating around the bush. And it's just the fact that there's not much going on at all, so it doesn't hold your attention. It's not like the old school Star Wars where it was a battle of this and it was TIE fighters and it was saber fights and it was, intense family dramas and it was one thing after another. And now we just have basically another Ahsoka where it's people standing around talking, and then another scene of people standing. So it was really hard for me to keep my attention on it, to even watch it, to even sit there and make notes on it. I've got like 6 lines of talking points, and that was it. And that was when it was the good episode. That was when it was this episode where they were fighting and they were actually using the Force and stuff was actually happening. I still only had like 6 lines of notes, and that was kind of it.
Okay, so the global view there, obviously not impressed. Okay, King Z, global view, 65,000 feet. Just what did you think overall? Don't worry about the synopsis. I'll get us into that.
So I think this was the best episode so far, but that's not saying much. When the bar is set so low, you can't help but trip over it and actually, succeed. Funny story is like when I was coming home, I was calling my wife and I was like, "Oh, are you ready to watch episode 5?" I do it with a sarcastic voice because it's fun. And she's like,
Yeah.
"Come on, I already had a bad enough day. Do I have to watch it?" That was her comment. It was kind of
It's
funny.
like when you're a kid. It's like when you're a kid and you get home and you had a bad day at school and your parents like, "And we need you to go do this, 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 and this." She's just like, she threw her head back like, "Oh my God, I don't want to do this." All right, listen, well, King Z, since we're still figuring out the Armoress's hardware and she's on a tape delay, ask me what my 65,000 foot view is of this episode, because I got a visual in my head that I'm going to describe.
All right, tell us what you think from a distance.
Okay. Here we go. I agree with you 1,000%. Everything you just said. That's my take on this episode. Imagine, if you will, a sandwich buffet, and it's got 4 sandwiches on it. Okay, and the first 4 sandwiches you see are moldy dog shit sandwiches that have been peed on. Okay, that's your first 4. And you move and you're looking at them all and you're like, "Oh Jesus, each next sandwich is getting worse." And then you get down to the 5th sandwich and you're like, "There's no dog pee on this one." And that's the one you eat. It's still a moldy dog shit sandwich, but nobody peed on it. That's this episode. It's the best. What did somebody say? It was in somebody's headline. It's the least trash episode of the 5. But even the people that said that, the least trash episode.
I think it was the Critical Drinker, and it was the least bad episode so far.
Yes, that was it. That was it. That was the one. That's right. He had his review up. It's dead on balls accurate, to quote another favorite movie of mine. It really is. And I think that, and even the people that said it's the least trash episode, and I'm sure that's what all we're going to share in a couple minutes, there's not a whole lot of good to point out. It's just that things actually happen. But I would argue that the things that happened had no weight attached to them, so I don't care. And we're going to talk about all of those good things. So, quick synopsis for folks that didn't watch the short ass episode. If you pause this video and go make a bag of popcorn, you can actually watch that whole episode on like triple speed. You won't miss anything, and you can actually see the whole video for yourself. So you can go check that out and then get back to us, join our discussion after we post the video with the like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff there. But the synopsis video, we don't need that. That to be even shorter. The synopsis of the episode is it takes place immediately following the events of 4. Like it just goes.
Picks up.
Right? It was a terrible endpoint for episode 4. Very obviously, this episode was probably cut in half and padded out with some bullshit, clearly. But it picks up with Smilo Ren demolishing 6, 7, 8 Jedi, Masters, Knights, Padawans, all that whole strike team demolishes, right? We get some nonsensical, unmotivated back and forths of what May's goals are, which side she's on. We get the apparent death of of Smilo Ren, whose identity obviously revealed in this episode, right?
Yep.
This is it. The mask comes off. We'll talk about that. And then we have the dumbest thing I think I've seen in this show with the twin switch. Like, I think you and I talked about this early on. Like, if it was a proper murder mystery with twins, sooner or later one doubles as the other and tries to infiltrate one side or the other and do some gangsta shit. That's where this episode ended. The specifics don't matter. All of it was fucking dumb. They had lightsaber battles. I'd like to bring up my first gripe after the synopsis, and then I'll let you guys go. We were told leading into this episode, guys, hang on for 5. There's a lightsaber battle in this episode that would rival Duel of the Fates with Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Is anybody here in agreement that this every saber duel in the show pales in comparison to that? Or no?
No, I think the people who did the choreography for the Phantom Menace, as well as the Battle of Mustar, which I found a great fact out
Mustafar.
about
Yep.
that,
Mhm.
uh,
That's my favorite.
did not care as much as they did in those. With this one, the saber battle was convoluted, very predictable, and then the dialogue about the battle was even less. Which I'll point that out later. But what I found out was that battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin was not stunt doubles, and it
Yep.
wasn't sped up.
Nope. They removed no frames or sped anything up to make that quicker. It's human choreography that they practiced thousands of hours for.
Yeah.
Which is why when we were watching Ahsoka, if you remember, Anakin doing any of the actions versus Ahsoka was so glaringly different in skill level. That wasn't by writing or by design. It's because Hayden Christensen's the man and remembered his moves from 20 odd years ago.
Yeah.
Like that's the level of professionalism he brought to it. But let's get the Armoress's take real quick on the saber battle to end all saber battles. Were you impressed?
There were so many pretty colors.
They had like 4 yellow ones on that fighting line. I'm like, remember when yellow was a unique color from like the video game from like the early 2000s from Knights of the Old Republic?
So I thought, hey, we're getting closer to July 4th. You know, it looks like fireworks. You know, they're keeping with the holiday. Yeah. So yes, there were so many pretty colors. You know, I thought, hey, I can't remember her name, the white face paint chick that kind of liked OSHA.
Jackie.
I mean, it seemed like, it seemed like she was able to get in a few good hits. She did all right. And then she dies with, 3 sabers to the chest. And that was it. And that was kind of like, that was kind of the only actual part where I was like, oh, okay, that was kind of cool. And that's it. The entire beginning to end of the show was maybe her little bit of a lightsaber battle, I thought it was kind of decently done just for her part. I was like, oh, good, they're going to give her a chance, and then they kill her off.
For sure. I think that there were some pluses in some of the choreography in places. Daphne Keene, X-23 from Logan, she obviously put some work in. She can move. Like I don't think they doctored up too much of anything she did because she did a pretty good job as a child actor on Logan 8 years ago. She's in her mid-20s now, I think, and so I think she's a professional when it comes to that. The same thing I'd say for whatever the actor's name and that plays Smilo Ren on the big reveal there. Turns out it was the potion master after all. It wasn't one of the mothers.
The
one of the most
Wish,
Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller. Yeah, that's on. Are we on Temu now? Wish might even be too new a joke. But yeah, no, he's the guy. It's not one of the moms. Nobody cares. I pointed out in the thumbnail when I was pointing at the musculature of his arm, and then when he did the force swipe at the end of episode 4, I'm like, that's a dude's hand. It's obviously Black Lady's hand.
Yeah, I was there thinking. I was thinking like how they could make that reveal better. And then one of the people who commented on our last video, I'm going to pull this up real quick for you guys to read.
Yeah.
I think this would have made it a lot better of a reveal of who it could have been.
Yeah, I remember reading this in our comments. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So shout out to Asher the Awesome One. I love this this rewrite of what should have happened. I believe it was this would have been spot on and would have upped the show a lot more if this actually happened.
And there's a lot of this kind of stuff out there, guy. That's what I think makes this show as frustrating as it's been, is because admittedly as poor of a show as it's been, there are enough interesting baseline concepts in here that folks could creatively apply themselves to and pull off the twin dichotomy, the murder mystery, the hidden master, the secret apprentice even. You could do Jedi conspiracy. I would hate it, but if it's done right, like I would tolerate it. You know what I mean? It's not for me. I like my good guys and my bad guys. I don't need them to be morally ambiguous and switch sides. So this is a great comment, actually. Asher, the Awesome One, thank you for dropping that in there. We love stuff like this. We had a lot of people giving us lore background and updates when we were doing Percy Jackson. This is a little bit different. Obviously, this is like good theory craft and like creative writing improvement. We love that kind of stuff. So you guys keep this kind of stuff coming. But let's get back into the episode talk, because there's so much to pick apart, in my opinion, for an episode that ran so slow. Saber convoluted battles aside, I'm torn on that as a concept, because I think the right word there, Kingsley, I think you said it was convoluted. We get pretty choreography in places, but it doesn't hold up to scrutiny. When you've got a 7-on-1 battle, that looks like this. It goes down like the TLJ throne room fight. Some people are dazzled by the slow-mo and the maneuvers involved, but I'm looking at it like, why are you all fighting one at a time? It's like the classic martial arts movie gaff that happens.
That was my nitpick. Is like, why do they always fight like this, where one person's going and why you have his batch completely exposed and easily just take him down?
But let's even move on like that. Like, I mean, the Armoress mentioned early on, like, we had force powers in battle. Like, Armoress, maybe you can clue us in. Why on earth would they is Smilo Ren the only one that has them? Why are the Jedi not doing this? It's 7-on-1. They couldn't have Hulk smashed this dude 7-on-1 and just pinned his ass down at any moment. Like, they all forgot their moves. They all forgot their powers. They're Jedi Masters. They're not new. And then out of the group, the Padawan's the one that gives them a run for the money. Come on. It's just poor writing. Tell me I'm wrong.
It is. That's what it comes down to, is just poor writing. I mean, we've seen it not just here, but in, Boba Fett and in the Ahsoka and everything. Well, everything it all just comes down to poor writing. There's so many times. I mean, they talked about it in one of the other episodes about Soul not using the Force when he used it one time for one thing, and he couldn't use it for the same thing in another episode. Like, it was just that right there was bad writing. Why would you be able to do one thing with the Force in one episode and not in the other?
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong. I heard the same thing.
Because it doesn't drive the plot.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I forgot about the plot. I'm sorry.
We forgot about the plot. That's strike one for the newbie. She forgot the plot. She didn't forget it as badly as Leslie Headland did. Right. Like, I the same problem with the Jedi mind read move. Right. So in this era, apparently that's a power set that they have. They can do the read mind thing that the Kylo Ren did in episode 7. But they intermittently forget they have that, or that they suddenly lack the Force sensitivity to utilize that even on a passive basis. Like when they're interrogating Potion Master Smilo Ren, they couldn't get a dark side read on this guy, right? Or then at the end of the stupid episode where they're clapping themselves on the back for setting up this clever twist where she cuts the braids off, where the evil twin cuts the braids off so she can go incognitus, as Archie Bunker would used to say, right? And infiltrate the Jedi. Master Soul didn't realize the chick getting on the ship with him wasn't his former Padawan. It was a chick he had never met before. Really? That happens in this world?
I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves just yet. I don't care.
I hate this show.
Let's stick to the lightsaber battle, because one of the things that got me too is when they were talking in the woods after he walked away after a lightsaber wound to the quad. He's walking away like he has no injury. I mean, he no-sold it. He no-sold it like a WWE person who's mad at the other wrestler. He no-sold that like it was nothing. But when he was talking, he's like, he's like, we don't know what he's going to do. His moves are different. And it's like, yes, that's called fighting. If he does exactly what you know he's going to do, it would have been easy. And like, it made no sense.
What he said doesn't make any sense. Like, I get what he was trying to intimate, that the attacks were unpredictable. But I watched that dude fight, and this is what I was saying when we were talking, where I jumped into the reveal. I want to give that actor credit. If he did his own stunt work there, that dude can move. Like, that dude can actually, he's got some martial arts in his background. Like, I believe him. So no, they weren't erratic and they made no sense. He might not have followed rules of fairness. I might have force choked this dude and did some other stuff. No, dude, he can fight. Your problem is you can't. And that's why you got the old, you know what I'm saying? We'll talk about that in a second, because that ties into my initial point of the stakes in this show. Let's move out of the lightsabers just for a quick second and get into stakes. I know every single point in this show where they want me to care, but I don't. And I wanted to, like, dude, House of the Dragon, wanted to. Dude, I just watched Firefly in a day. Never seen it. First watch, let it run 4 or 5 episodes at a chunk, took a break, did it again. I care more about every one of those effing characters on that show than I do about anybody on this show. Hands down, it's not even close, right? So when any of them buy it or are hypothetically endangered here, I don't care. Does anybody care about any of these characters, good, bad, or in between? Anybody?
Well, the characters have to actually emit emotions for you to care about them, and they're not doing any of that.
It's kind of hard to omit emotions when your dialogue is written so cardboardly.
Oh,
You're injured. We must get to the shuttle.
dude, I had to watch
Speaking
this
of
episode again.
emotions,
Yeah, go.
that's okay. Speaking of emotions, is everybody on the same page as far as May and Osha just being the exact same character?
Same person, same character,
It's the same person, same character.
same body language, same intonation.
Same hairstyle, except one had longer.
Same hairstyle.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Exactly the same.
And then so you want to do this all in order, and I'm like, and then we got to get to the part where she switched outfits to pull off the infiltration, but took the time to dress the body. Like, no, stop it, it's stupid. You've picked all the tropes and done them wrong, all of them. I can't keep it inside anymore. It's so bad. Every character on this show that they want me to care about has nothing set up in terms of personality. None of them have the wound. You know what I mean? Like the thing they're running from. They set it up with Yord. How he dropped the ball on an earlier mission, and we were kind of episode 1 when we met him. He's apologizing to Master Saul, and I think we said this to each other, Kings. I was like, dude, then are we gonna find out about that? Like, how did he come up short? Was he almost expelled? Did he get someone killed? Like, this is the thing. That was your building block. You had me. I was like, okay, let's see some shit. Dead. Don't care.
Dead.
Right? Other Padawan. Interesting look. Interesting actress. People like her. She was popular, like I said, from Logan. She's got the flirty thing with Osha. Okay, so that's a bit of characterization there. Where's she from? What are her parents like? You know, was she abused? Was she sold into slavery and then rescued by the Jedi? What is her technical area of expertise? Or like, give me more about her. You didn't. She flirted with Osha a couple times. She's good with the hand to hand. That's not a personality trait. That's not characterization. She's dead.
Doesn't matter. She's dead.
Well,
dead.
Well, she might not, because as we know, lightsabers don't kill women in this universe. They really only kill dudes. So she got 3 of them. But they'll bring her back and go, her anatomy doesn't have any vital organs where they struck. Mark my words. If it goes down, it's going down that way.
Right? I did see a short on that about Sabine taking the lightsaber because it wasn't center mass and it hit her in the side.
Let me stop you right there.
Area. And
let me stop you right there.
Because technology is a little bit better to treat lightsaber wounds.
Yeah, let me stop you right there. What I didn't tell you before is that I'm no longer the only healthcare professional on the panel. So the Armoress also has some medically inclined education and background. Just saying.
What about that article somebody did about the fact that a lightsaber would like boil every cell in your body till you explode or something?
Right. It's superheated plasma. That's exactly what would happen. Yeah, no, it's stupid. I like that they gave her the 3. Like, that was, again, there was some agility and some finesse to that. So that looked cool. I'm telling you, if they bring her back, they're going to be like, no. She got 3 hearts. They're all in her ovaries. That's how she survived, because she took them all from the waist up. You know what I mean? So, no, I don't buy it. Stop it. Like, that's her. Saul's an okay character. I don't care about the villain. I don't care about Smilo Ren. None of his background was explained to make him intriguing. And like King Z just said, the writing, his dialogue was so stupid that I get what the actor was going for, but it didn't work.
Minus one line. One line, I have to say, is the most cleverest line I've heard in the whole thing. And he's like, why do you hide your identity? Or what about the reveal? And he's like, I wore a mask. Best line in the whole series so far.
Yes.
And utterly forgettable and stupid, and I don't like it. And I just don't. I
like the actor because he's from A Good Place.
I've never seen that, and I've never seen it, but everybody's saying that now that the helmet came off, and I'm like, why wasn't anybody talking about this dude in episode 2 when he was making poison and shit?
Well, my wife pointed out in episode 2 or episode.
I don't remember any online chatter about him being in anything at all, literally until last night with all the watch parties.
Because it was more centered around him, so I guess he was more of a center of attention than just a possible side character.
Yeah, true.
Well, the scene where he took his mask off, I think it was like the push-up bra of this whole series. Are you familiar with the push-up bra metaphor?
No, you should explain it in depth and offer any visual evidence of any celebrities you have that it looks good on.
Yeah. Well, the chick that you meet, she's got a beautiful set, and you think, hey, I'm going to take this chick home, and I'm going to get this chick's clothes off, and the push-up bra comes off, and there's nothing underneath it, and you're very, very disappointed. That's how this scene was for me. When he took that off, when he took off the mask, I was very, very disappointed.
Now, were you disappointed because you predicted that it was going to be him, or that you thought it was going to be somebody else that you would have preferred? Or was it because literally you just don't care about the stakes on the show anywhere? Like, specifically, what was it? Because as far as reveals go, I thought it happened in a battle. It was very old martial art movie villain reveal. It was okay. What was your specific gripe with that part?
I think there were two things. I think the first thing was, yes, I was expecting it to be someone else. I thought there was going to be a cool, at least some sort of surprise. But the other thing was, is they built this character up to be. He was just, nobody liked him, and he was a terrible character. He was annoying. He was stupid. The writing for him was terrible. I mean, he was a character. If he died, nobody would have cared. I mean, and I know that's kind of part of the thing. Like, he's supposed to be playing someone else or something, but it was just, right. I think they built him up to be such a boring character that it wasn't that much of like, oh my god, it's him. It was like, oh, it's him.
All right. So they laid too many breadcrumbs down the red herring.
Yeah, they were trying to play off the whole like, oh, it could never be him because of how he was, or he's two people, like two personalities difference. But you just see that he was just playing a role instead of two personalities separate.
Dude, I saw that in Usual Suspects like 30 years ago, and it was much better when Kaiser Soze revealed himself. So they were going for that, and this didn't land like that.
But apparently, the writers also don't know that a millennium is not 1,000 years, not 100. The millennium's 1,000 years, not 100.
Yeah. Maybe they should have given Wish Ezra Miller some sort of limp.
I mean, well, maybe they should have given discount Ezra Miller. I'm just going to stop calling him that, because I think after he's the best actor on the show that doesn't speak English as a native language. Like, I think he did the best he absolutely could with what they gave him here with the villain monologuing. Which let's go back to sabers for a minute. Trope number one that needs to stop in action movies: when you got the other guy dead to rights, just fucking do it. Get it done. There were like 4 stoppages. Like, was this an NFL game? Like, we just got there's a TV timeout. Then they got a goddamn commercial timeout after the kick, and then we got to do this and we got to do that. Why was this fight interrupted 5 times? Why? Get to the point. Because the more you stop it, you introduce opportunities to break your own internal logic. Like, check it. The 6 Jedi all get knocked back in the Force push. Master Saul fucks off. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Right? You don't think that when these 6 recover to go engage the one guy with the interruptions that we had, not one of them peeled back to call for backup or radio in, hey, red lightsaber user, fucked up Kelnaka, send backup, because travel time means less in this world than it does in Westeros. Jedi could have had 1,000 people there in like a minute. Like, there's all this opportunity happens when you stop to talk. Forced teleportation. We've only seen them do it with a gun or a lightsaber. I don't think and that was 1,000 years later or whatever. I don't care. Right? They break themselves when they do this stuff. And this is why we can talk about this show and critique it without talking about any DEI stuff or anything else. I had this thought earlier. I should have put it on Twitter. Like, everybody in support of this show singing its praises. Let's swap everybody on the cast into white people. Is it still a good show?
No.
Sorry, it's not. You could put 12 dudes in this show that look like King Z. It's not. You make 2 of them gay. I don't care. This is what I'm saying. It's still terrible. It doesn't matter who you cast. The story's bad. The writing's bad. It's illogically broken in multiple points. I don't know what else to say about that. I got plenty of nitpicky specifics on the subject, but I don't like. What are your biggest gripes on the show? Let's get the Armoress first on that one and get her opinion. Like, what was the worst, most glaring bit of thing that just didn't make sense for you?
There were 2 things. The first one was, it was kind of a smaller thing, but the first one was that when they're in the forest, and they're walking through, and it's Osha and I don't know, the kid with the dreads, that's what I call him. And they're walking through the forest, and she goes and tells him, shut your lightsaber off. She shuts her flashlight
Oh,
off.
yeah,
She says, shut your light. They're attracted to the light, and takes him a little bit, then he shuts it off. Then they cut to another scene, cut back about 2 minutes later. She turns her flashlight on, and they chase them. So anyway, I thought it was just dumb. It was just, the whole setup was dumb. It was like you just told him to turn his lightsaber off. So there's that, and then the other thing was the whole, she cut her hair at the end, and she walked back to Soul, and Soul's, the first thing he says is, "Where is she?" And Osha/May goes, "Who?" And right there on Soul, it's like, we're gonna give it up that quickly. You are such a bad actress. You're gonna give it up that quickly, right in that second. It was cringing. I was cringing watching that scene.
Yeah, those are definitely two bad ones. Kingsley, points of illogicalness that just wanted you to bang your head on the wall. But what was the worst in it for you?
Other than the dialogue, you hold a Jedi weapon, but you are no Jedi. That is such a bad line. No matter how cool it sounds in his accent, it is not a good line.
I agreed. But was there a plot point that you just shook your head at? Like any particular scene that went down, where you're just like, come on.
Well, I already hit on the one with the lightsaber battle with one at a time battles, and then his and his headbutt that disabled lightsabers. Yeah. Which I don't understand that. It has to be some type of metal. We'll find that out later, I guess.
It's already been discussed a little bit based on one of the old games. It's a cortosis from the old Knights of the Old Republic game. Apparently, there's some armor in world that refracts lightsabers or some nonsense. I'm like, okay, fine.
I thought this was a crossover. No vibranium.
Nope. No, it's unobtainium.
Nope. No. You're not. It should be unobtainium. I'd like to give me the Futurama crossover with this. It would improve it vastly. But yeah, so you'll if you look around online, you'll see stuff on that. But the helmet breaking lightsabers, like, dude, that changes lightsaber combat forever. The same way the Holdo maneuver changed space battles in Star Wars. Like, now you only need a gauntlet and a helmet, and you could just head smash lightsabers and deflect shit, and you could just go 1-on-7. And I'm like, okay, so this is Star Wars now. It's the one super powerful dude. This leads me into the thing I hated most. The one super powerful dude can now murk 7 of your best. Well, pack it in, boys. The war's over. You've already lost this shit. You're done. Like, it's over. I mean, one guy by himself just murked you, all of you, including the guy leading the team in several cases.
The other part is that they pretty much made the whole mystery of what actually happened to the Covenant not important at all. Because one, she saw she saw May start the fire, and it doesn't matter at that point because she was trying to kill her. 2, she just betrayed her again and took her place. So it doesn't matter what Soul did at this. May keeps making herself the enemy. So no matter if it was the big Jedi conspiracy to steal them or whatever happened, and how Soul is somehow the sole responsibility of that. Yes, I did that on purpose.
Yeah, I saw what you did there.
They made that point irrelevant because she made herself the bad guy, no matter if you're a twin. And she keeps saying, and May keeps making her point the most important point. Her point of view is the only point of view that matters. Even though that Osha wanted to go with the Jedi, she wanted to be a Jedi, and she still chooses the way of the Jedi. It doesn't matter because that ain't what May wants. And that's how they're writing this. They're making it like it only matters with what May wants.
But isn't that reflective of, and maybe the Armoress can give her opinion on that as well, as somebody that's consumed the media? Is this not just typical of Disney? Like, these writers self-insert their varying degrees of personal character flaws that they have. Everything is about them. Their lack of integrity, their lack of honesty. It's all about them. It's so egocentric that they can't help but write noble characters and things like that. What do you think, Armor? Is there any validity to that statement?
I mean, I do agree with you. I don't know how much more I could clarify it, but it's, we all know it's as simple as, they're pushing politics into entertainment, and it's getting laid on so thick, and people are getting sick and disgusted by it. And it's ruining this whole genre. It's ruining Star Wars. And I mean, it's getting to the point where, like, watching this show and others like it is getting me, like we spoke before about me getting this kind of nostalgic and wanting to go back, and like I'll watch Mando's season 2, the last episode, and just to find out, okay, where did things go wrong? Like, how did they have this
Gina.
episode? Right, if I had Gina, you know what I mean? It just, what did they not learn from the success of this one episode? This one episode, which like everybody just raved about, and it brought all the Star Wars fans back together, and was just like, wow, they made this really great episode. Hopefully from here on out it will be just like this. And then everybody was completely disappointed, and it made me want to go back and watch that, just to say, okay, what happened? Where did they go wrong? And okay, what are we seeing in this episode, it was season 2, was the last episode. What went right with this episode, and why are they not taking notes from this? And it was everything from the emotion to the cinematography to the saber battles to it was even sound effects. It was just so much better, and it was just like, why are they not going back to that? And hey, did you guys notice the stolen sound effect from Endor in this episode?
Something in the woods, something in nature. No.
Yeah, there was the same sound effect when I believe it was when Princess Leia and the Ewok were sitting on the log on Endor, and it was quiet, and all you could hear was that whatever it was, creature. It was the same one in this episode.
Interesting. I'll have to go back and listen for that. I mean, that makes sense that they probably just pulled an asset off of a.
But it's a whole different planet, right? They weren't on Endor.
No, they weren't.
Crickets. All right, so listen, we love splitting hair. I mean, I love splitting hair as much as this guy. King Z gives a lot of passes, but I can't split the insect hair. It's generic cricket asset.
Listen, don't let me hear Endor when it ain't Endor.
Listen, fair enough. Fair enough. We got plenty of nitpicks. My big nitpick that I wanted to get you guys' take on, because I don't think it's a nitpick. I think this is as legitimate a criticism of anything that I've laid on Kenobi. And King Z hasn't seen Kenobi. Armoress, did you watch the Kenobi show or no? Did you miss that, or did you watch it? I don't remember if we talked about that.
I did watch. I watched pieces of it. I didn't catch the whole thing. I think I watched 1 or 2 episodes.
You watched Boba Fett though, and were thoroughly disappointed and disgusted. You said that at the beginning of this show, right?
Yes, I did not like Boba Fett whatsoever.
Okay. So in this episode right now, I have as big a criticism on one aspect of the story as I've had in any of the story, like the plot progression of anything that they've done so far. And that's when the battle picks up right at the beginning of this show. We're led to believe that it's within seconds of how the last episode ended. Smiler Ren shows up. He force shoots Osha out of the way. He engages the whole Jedi team at once. And May's looking from Kelnaka's shack and not picking a side, right? It's not the next day. It's not 8 hours later. They didn't break for Jedi lunch or anything like that. It's underway. When the show picks up, there's one dead Jedi already. Dude, for what that's worth, for people that are keeping score at home. Right? And then the other 6 Jedi are doing the throne room battle with Smilo Ren back and forth all which way, right?
Yeah.
Saul doesn't show up for like 8 minutes. World time for them. Where is he? Where did the Force Blast knock him to that he was uninvolved in this battle? If they don't have a frame that shows me he's hurt, like unconscious, or he's the one radioing for backup because he trusts his 6-person team to take the one person, this is stupid. It's like King Z said, it's the plot needed him not to be there so he could show up later for the big save when Smilo Ren does the I ripped it off from Starkiller saber throw boomerang attack. So he can show up last second and deflect it out. And that's what they did. Like they needed a game piece not to be there, but they didn't respect the board enough to leave the pieces where they were, to logically move them to where they should be through the story progression. And I fucking hate that because they pull it again on you at the end of the episode where they just blow like logic out of the water. Saul fights this dude to a standstill, gets the drop on him, is gonna kill him, And I know people have issues with killing him on the spot. I'm one of them. Like, if this dude's this dangerous, but you have him beat, he needs to be brought in so you can find out what else he knows, if there's more of him, if there's a temple. Like, there's some shit you got to do, right? If you put him down, maybe he's the apprentice. You know, maybe there's a master. Who knows, right? Rule 2, and maybe he broke the rule because he's dabbling. Who knows? But the other half of that is she tells him no for like reasons, and then 8 seconds later she sticks him with the flashlight. So the wood lice, or what were they called, umbra moths? Like, that's a clever way to say shadow, I guess. I don't know. But like, so we had that stupid action there. So she saved him for moral reasons so she could kill him herself in a less efficient way. I don't know. So 2 bits of stupid. 2.
Hey,
Comments
if you
from
kill
the
the
gallery,
number,
anybody.
if you kill a killer, the number of killers remain the same in the world.
True. My point here is more what's the word I'm looking for? Forward thinking. In the interest of dotting I's and crossing T's.
I guess that's
you
why
want
they
to know
put
that the
Mace
super
Windu
powerful
later on the Jedi Council, because he was ready to kill Senator Palpatine. He's like,
He's
no,
too
we must
dangerous.
take him now. He's too dangerous.
I mean, he was already
Do you
on the
think
council when
Mace
he
knows
dispatched.
something about Soul's past since she didn't want him to kill him? It has, you know, something that we're going to find out in the future about Soul's past. Something
They're
about
gonna
he
try-
maybe
they're
killed
gonna
somebody, and
try
she just
because-
didn't want to have them deal with that guilt again.
I think that's a great point, and I think that's a great way to segue out of the shit show that this episode was and get into like more forward thinking stuff, because they have 3 episodes left, right? And I think what you're hitting on is perfect.
Unfortunately,
They're setting it up that way. There's now going to be the last 3 episode arc is going to be strong female antagonist May acting as Osha, getting inside the Jedi temple to murder council members, because she'll probably be able to do that. But then her boss is going to show up, because obviously she thinks he's dead. He's not. He's going to come back with Osha. They're all going to be on Coruscant at the same place. The reason I don't think it's going to go down effectively, and it would be effective if they did what you said, that all requires like setup and showing me shit. And if they wait till episode 7 to finally show me what Soul did to the Witch's Coven, if anything, I still won't care. You've waited too long to make me care and think he's the bad guy, because all you've shown me is him trying to do good things and help people, even wanted murderers.
all they're going to show is him with his razor thin walk into the dark side, and then his return.
Not enough. Dude, honestly, it's just not enough. So the only thing we have left to like look forward to on this show is they've already burned the murder mystery. They already burned the twin thing to a degree, because the world knows there's 2 of them. So now they're going to do the hidden identity thing. And they did the Smilo Ren reveal. I only want to see how this dumpster fire ends. I don't care how it ends at all, because I don't care about any character on this show that's left. You know, Jedi Knight, bad haircut guy, neck break, dead, gone. No resolution of that character.
Nope.
Padawan kid, stabbed through 3 times, dead, gone, don't care. Dude, it'd be pretty ballsy, actually, if they just left Osha dead and just had Smilo Ren get on his ship and go to Coruscant to get May and Saul. Like, there's really not, I don't care about anybody on the council. I don't care about the green chick. I don't care about not Tormund, who was the Jedi instructor in the last episode, teaching the younglings. I don't care about him. Like, who else can we care about on this show? I just don't care. I don't know anything enough. I don't know enough anything about any of them. You know, do you guys have any favorites left? Like, anybody that you just want to see do anything cool?
No, I'm really looking
I
forward to
do
the ending
like
credits.
Soul. I do like Soul, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to give him, you know, I don't know if they're going to do any type of sort of, I don't know, redemption arc or whatever they could do with his character. Could he be awesome? Yeah, he has the potential, but I don't think they're going to write him that way.
I mean, I agree, because like redemption arcs require you to have setup. You can't just be around.
It's not there. There's no writing there to do that.
Yeah, I think you're dead on. I think you're dead on correct. Go Kingsley, go. You look like you got something.
So on the point of this being ruined, because I mean it's beyond, I believe, save at this point. But one thing else to consider is at this point that they know they're dealing with a Sith, because he revealed himself. He's like, "You call me Sith."
Oh, how did I forget that? How did I forget that?
Yeah. So they're actually dealing with the Sith, and they escaped. Soul is on his ship that he did contact the Jedi Council. Yoda lives in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Yoda is just trying to let a red lightsaber guy start wheeling around, or is Yoda going to come out and do some Yoda stuff?
Dude, that was the big thing, and I'm glad you just said it because it totally slipped my mind. So for all the jackasses that last week were still all with the uppity of the not lore breaking, canon breaking with Kiadi Mundi being alive and present in this world on this show, being like, oh, Green Chick said let's handle it ourselves, and this dude's there, knows that they have a potential Sith alive, right? Now you got a guy on this same council talking about, I've heard him use the word. The bad guy self-identified as the thing.
Yeah.
If the first fucking thing he says on his ship to Yoda, and the only way I want to see Yoda on this show is on the other side of a hologram that Saul is calling to say, yeah, bro, turns out, yeah, it's a Sith for sure. Mobilize, like, let's do this thing. And you know we're not going to get that. That's the only way I wanted that to go down. They broke this show, and they did it in their own words. It didn't need any help from us at all.
No, it did
Notice
not.
King Z is having some technical difficulties. We apologize. True. But I don't know what else we can say about this episode. I mean, Armoress, usually we do ratings on a 2 or on a 5 or a 10 scale. Do you want to throw out like an inaugural rating for you out of 10? Just this show, these episodes, not compared to like Empire Strikes Back or something clearly superior, just like within context of this show.
Just for this episode or for the whole show so far?
No, I rate this episode in the context of the whole show.
In the context of the whole show, I mean, if 3 was a 1, then this is probably, I don't know, a 4.
Okay, all right. So if episode 3 was the flashback, was the lowest, scored a 1 for you. You have this at a 4. Okay, that's fair. King Z, out of 10, if you're here.
So this was the best show out of them so far. Like a lot of people were talking about, like Star Wars live action starts off slow. Here, I even got a comment on this that we got saying that Star Wars live action picks up about episode 5. The new format is fan complained early in the series. Overall, the series are slow and underwhelming compared to movies. And I'm saying in this new type of format that they have, it's your streaming service at this point. You don't have to worry about advertisers. You don't have to worry about time slots. You can go as long as you want. You can make these hour-long episodes. Everybody else seems to get this right, except for Disney Star Wars. And they could have plenty of time to flush a lot of this out, which would fix a lot of their issues if they had more time. But they try to shove it into these 23-minute and then go up to 45 minutes for another show and then drop back. It's not consistent, and it does make it harder on the writing staff to come up with something. So to this guy's comment, and thank you again for commenting, was it Dorma9723?
Looks like Don Ramon 973.
Don Ramon. Yeah, Don Ramon 9723. Thank you for your comment. But that's the issue I have with it. It kind of picked up with this episode, but not as much as it should. I mean, like I said, when the bar is set so low, eventually you have to trip over it. I mean, even the sun shines on a dog's butt once in a while.
So give me your 10 piece.
I'm gonna go with 3.
Okay, so the Armoress had it at 4, you had it at 3. Dude, I'm gonna give my rating right off of the remark that we just had, the comment that you were just talking about run times, things like that, because I've said this multiple times and I'm gonna say it again. In the context of this show, right? The show had a budget of $180 million. House of the Dragon season 2 also has a budget of about $180 million. Hey, you're back.
Hey, so fits that.
You're right. Other streaming services have this figured out. I don't know why Disney keeps insisting upon this format. It's stupid. 8 to 10 episodes means you have no time to play with me. None. You can be slow in the first episode, and we saw what that did to Andor. Categorically the best show they've made, writing-wise.
Right, but isn't historically first episodes just made for character development, and none of that's happening?
in a typical pilot situation on old network, they could get away with that because they were going to run 25, 30 episodes in a season.
23 episodes was a standard
Right.
season.
Right. But on this nonsense on streaming, when they only go 8 to 10 in the best case scenario, you have to blend a certain amount of character work. Like you're saying, that's an absolute, you need that, but you also really need to get stuff going. And too many times I think they blur the line and get it conflated that getting things going means it needs to open on a kung fu bar fight like this show did. It didn't need that. It needed more. It needed a deeper look into Saul. It needed a deeper look into Yord, the Padawan, and then the villain somewhere else. So my problem with this show, the money they've spent, is you've spent the same amount of money as House of the Dragon to give me fewer episodes that are half as long with nothing interesting to look at. That effing show gives me dragons every effing episode, and this show told me that with 180 million bucks, they couldn't give me Kelnaka fighting for 30 seconds. Guy in a Wookiee suit. They just couldn't film that for some reason. Like, okay, where'd the money go? So it's not on the screen. So the lightsaber battles in this one, where I'll probably give it, I wanted to give it a 5, but then I watched it again and I picked up too much TLJ throne room stuff, where too many stunt doubles waiting for their turn to do a saber attack. And then the more I thought about dude deflecting sabers, and they break for a minute, but then they recharge and come back on. The 3.5, I got to take a full 1.5 off from that. I can't give it a 4. It's a 3.5 for me. None of it makes sense. There's no stakes. It's too late to our commenter's point. You can't wait until episode 5 of 8 to get going. You can't. You could wait till maybe 2. This is what I was saying about Andor. Andor is categorically the best show they've written. It's the only one Kingsley enjoy that we've enjoyed top to bottom, right? And it's got the second lowest views out of all their show, behind only this one. You know what I mean?
And they did it with no Force, no space wizards, no light swords,
no no Skywalkers, no Vader,
no Skywalkers, no Empire. Well, there was an Empire, but
no, there was Empire, but I mean, it wasn't the Emperor and Vader doing monologues and shit. It was carried by Luthen Rail and Andor and Mon Mothma and all the subterfuge that the heist the escape scene from the heist planet. Awesome.
Oh, so good.
Dude, we gotta go back and rewatch that episode. That's what I mean. But nobody watched that because the time it came out, it was would it just come out? It was either TLJ just come out or Solo just come out, and people were just off it. We're like, nope, we're out.
It was right after Solo, yeah.
I think that's what I'm saying. So we're like, nah, we're still gonna punish you for this nonsense. We're not gonna do this. And then it's forgotten because it's on effing Disney Plus, and no one's gonna track you down on Disney Plus. You know, at the end of the day, when this show is done, no one's going back to rewatch this. There's no cosplay coming. The toys are already on sale. No one's ordering yellow custom saber for Yord. Sorry, they're not. Just like nobody ordered Reva's custom saber from the Kenobi show. Nobody bought them. Nobody cares. The new stuff is awful. And again, with this particular show, they set themselves up for this. They did this. They told us this was an original show based on the High Republic that was going to sink or swim on its own merits. It was going to do the all-female directing, writing nonsense thing. It was going to have the diverse cast, which nobody that's a fan of sci-fi or fantasy ever had a problem with. Go back and watch Firefly. I just did. We've already been doing this. You jackasses are catching up to us on what is okay to be on screen and what is not, like a hush. Oh my God, they did that. They had an interracial kiss. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. It's 2024. Nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. So 0.5% of people that care are jackasses, and they're not out there running Twitter. Sorry. This is on you guys that your show sucks. That's all I got. You guys can have some closing remarks if you need them. I'm good. And we can say our goodbyes. I don't care. Fuck this show.
Go ahead,
Armoress. You want to say goodbye? You can say goodbye. Do your thing. Thank you for coming.
You know, usually when it comes to Star Wars, you look forward to a new episode, and I'm not looking forward to any more episodes. Am I gonna watch them? Yeah, I'm gonna watch them. I'm gonna watch them for the sake of trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And I don't know. I'm not. You know, usually, like, when you watch Mandalorian, I was like, oh, cool, another episode next week. And now I'm like, oh, God, I have to deal with another episode.
That was us with Andor. That was us with Andor, like, week to week. We were like, oh, yeah, Luthen Rail going to say some pimp shit. And then he did.
Luthen Rail's speech in episode 7.
Still.
So good.
Dude, top marks. Kingsley, give us all your goodbyes, and then I'll say.
All right. So you do know that there's a lawsuit because of this show that's happening, where they're suing for defamation after they change the Wikipedia of the dude's birthday.
Oh, is this the Star Wars theory thing?
Yeah, and they started fighting, and then apparently there was something said that caused a deformation of character. Now, if that caused a lawsuit, I got one more fan theory from our comments I want to pull up, and it's right here. And I think this will cause people to riot. I'll let you read it for yourself and comment on that.
Wago Jinx 7053 says, "What if Shmi, Anakin's mother, was a member of this witch coven, and that's the true reason she gave birth?" Dude, if you want to see Lucasfilms get like burned down to ash, I mean, this is one more way to go. I wouldn't put it past them, frankly, because nothing is sacred to these people. They stand there, to quote a much better movie. They've stood on the shoulders of genius, right? They've acquired and accomplished the intelligence from what's his name, Goldblum in Jurassic Park. That's what they've done. They've stood on the work of better people, better creators, men and women alike, to get to this garbage point where they told us this is going to be an us story. We did this. This is what we came up with. Your fan fiction with a budget. That's it. You're no better than anybody putting anything on fanfiction.net. And I've seen better Star Wars stories on that site written by high schoolers. Hand to God, I've seen better fan fiction on fanfiction.net than this garbage here. So if they're going to want to have, if they're going to take one more thing from the Skywalker story to supplant that and bolster this, fuck off, show.
All right. So everyone who stayed with us this long, I want to say thank you. And if you do want to see something that is well written, well acted, that has a diverse cast, and comes on and is released tomorrow, go watch The Bear. Go watch The Bear. It is a very awesome show. I highly recommend it, and it would be it will calm your brain after watching 5 episodes of this. If you haven't watched The Bear, go watch season 1 and season 2, and you'll see character growth. You'll see great writing. You'll see fun dialogue. And
it's a great show.
Oh, I love The Bear. But that's all I have to say. Remember to like and subscribe. You guys come out strong. You've got us 13 new subs in the last week. We appreciate you. And thank you for all the great comments. We try to stay up on replying to you guys. Keep the dialogue coming. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.